Partisanship, left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, welcome everybody. So happy to have you here this glorious Tuesday afternoon here on WYSL here in Rochester, New York, WENY, the Southern Tier of New York, the Patriot, and WACK in Newark, New York. So happy to be here on Our Free Solution. Reach out to me, 585-346-3000. You know, I have noticed, and I bet a bunch of you have too, I bet you have, that some of the pricing has gone up. It's true. If you haven't been shopping, maybe you should go, but you probably have been. So you've noticed that a bunch of the pricing has gone up, but not just in things like food, but other things. Very popular I hear all the time is lumber. I actually haven't bought any lumber recently, but we were thinking about getting some work done in our home, and we talked to our contractor, and he's like, you don't understand, lumber is like crazy. So lots of things are going up. And when people see inflation going up, the first thing they assume is, well, it's banking, or it's the Fed, or it's the economy, it's that type of stuff. And then they worry about hyperinflation and superinflation. And I've heard that many times. I'm not that concerned about hyper or superinflation. People might say, wait a minute, Larry, how do you know this? Do you know something that we don't know? Maybe. I don't think I do, but maybe. The biggest reason for the increase in pricing right now, I'm not judging the future yet, I'm saying right now, is a lack of labor. Yeah. Labor is like anything else. If it's scarce, you got to pay more for it. That's how it works, right? In reality, all pricing is based on one important fact: perceived scarcity. That's what pricing is really based upon. Does someone believe that that product or service that they specifically want is relatively scarce? The more scarce they believe it is, the higher they're willing to pay for it, assuming they value it, obviously, right? And the example I'll often give is, if you're someone who doesn't care about designer shirts, then every shirt's the same to you, in which case shirts are not scarce to you. You're not going to pay a high price for it because it's just a shirt. But if you really care about designer shirts and it really matters to you, then a specific shirt is going to be very important to you. And then that means that specific shirt is scarce. You'll pay a lot for it. Still a shirt. Perceived scarcity is everything. So is there a lot of labor out there? Maybe. But people aren't working. They're not coming back to work. Yeah. And they don't come back to work. So now how am I going to get my my trees chopped down? I'm not. How am I going to get my trees that I chopped down, my timber? How am I going to get my timber sent to the manufacturing processing plant so I can turn it into lumber? I'm not. How do I get that lumber to the Lowe's or the Home Depot or wherever I'm going to? I'm not. I got to pay guys and gals extra cash to do that. Or maybe I can't even pay them that much, so they don't come back anyway. So maybe now I'm delayed in my timing, and now I got to raise my pricing. But why would I raise my pricing? Because of timing. Well, if I'm a manufacturing plant or processing plant, I got to move X number of timber out of my plant to make my bills. Well, if I can't receive enough, my fixed costs are still high. My rent is still my rent. My insurance is still my insurance. And now I'm paying more for my labor at the plant. So all my stuff goes up, but I'm getting less timber in. I got to charge more for that timber, don't I? So I can pay for my fixed costs. I got to pay for that too. So that goes up. And that's all across. You might say, Larry, are you sure about this labor shortage? I know lots of people who aren't working. Yeah, me too. That's the point, isn't it? That's kind of the point. Right now, you have the MTA here in New York City where I live canceling trains. Why? Why are you canceling trains? Because no one's on the subway? No, because they can't get anybody to work on the subway. Yeah. You might say, but Larry, wait a minute. That's a union job. That's a good job. You got to have people who are, working on a subway. Yet, isn't that the actual workers who were working? They were fine. But to be forward, many of them, a big chunk of them actually passed away from COVID. Many of them were older. That actually happened. But that isn't the biggest piece. The biggest piece is people took the opportunity to retire, to quit. So they retired, to their pension, packed up and left. Like, you count those two together, it's like 1,000 workers or so. It's a bunch of workers. I forgot how many. It's hundreds for sure. Hundreds of workers gone. The problem is no one's now joining because they're staying home. They're not getting the new recruits in. That's what's happening. MTA, New York City. How are you gonna pay your bills for the MTA when you got to cancel trains, which means less people are riding the train now? We're only up to, in New York City, the MTA, the subway, we're only up to 45% of what we were before COVID. So that's less than half of the fares coming in. How you gonna pay for that? I don't know, because you're still paying for those guys' pensions. They're still getting paid. They're in Florida and Tennessee and Texas now, taking our tax money that you're paying if you live in New York so they can have a pension, so they can spend their money in another state. That's happening now too. How are we going to pay for that? I don't know. But it isn't just the MTA. It's American Airlines. American Airlines, they're canceling flights. Yeah. Why? Because people aren't flying? No, people are flying. Oh, we may not want to work, but man, we want to travel. We are traveling. Yes, we are. We are back in action. Well, can't get workers. They're not going back to, literally, pilots aren't going back. Service people aren't going back. Flight attendants aren't going back. They're not going to work. Can't fly the plane without a pilot. I mean, you could try. I don't want to be on that plane, though. I'm just saying, if I don't want to be on that plane. You could try, though, if you want to. I'm going to pass on that. So you can't get workers to go to the airlines. That's why there's so much inflation right now. It's not because of the banks. Well, the banks are bad. You know I hate banks. I'm a libertarian. By default, I hate the Fed. That's kind of has to happen. So you know I'm against that already. But I'm not going to blame the Fed this time. And this is going to make some of you want to fall out of your chair. Larry's not going to blame the Fed this time? This time. Don't worry. I will again. Just not at this specific moment. That's all. They get a little bit of a reprieve from me, I guess. I'm not sure they care. But a little bit, they get a reprieve. This is a labor shortage. But the hardest part is the labor shortage isn't because we don't physically have workers. It's because we have people who aren't going back to work. My hope is with this, that in the long run, this will be a positive thing. I don't know if it will be. I'm hoping that this will actually get workers to negotiate better with their employers and have a better relationship, negotiate better to find what they actually find important and valuable, which may not always be money only. It is clearly money's always part of a job, obviously. But there are other things that matter too. Things like, can I work from home? Can I have certain days off? Can I change my shifts? Those types of things also matter. But you notice where we're having the biggest problem with workers. It's where they have to show up at work. You can't fly your plane from your house. Got to be in the plane for that. I mean, maybe one day, but right now, got to fly that plane from in the plane. So you got to show up. You can't be in your PJs and do a Zoom call. Doesn't work for pilots or flight attendants or mechanics. got to show up. Drive that train, kind of got to be there, right? Conductor, got to be there. Maintenance guy, got to be there. That's one of the problems. We've spent over a year telling people you don't have to come to work. And we've changed so many habits that people are struggling to get out of that habit, particularly when they can get paid to stay home. That's a problem. I'm sorry, get paid to work the way they want to work. And that's another piece that we have to talk about. Because some people are working. They're just not going to work. Yeah, a whole lot different. What am I talking about? I'm going to tell you after the break, I promise. Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle, accept no substitutes.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you've heard, but chlorine for swimming pools is like gold right now.
Or isn't achieving your goals. Get the professionals.
You can't really find it anywhere.
Today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it is a free solution. I am Larry Sharp here, host of the Sharp Way Show. If you want to watch stuff that I'm doing almost every night, I'm on live at 7 p.m. Eastern. Not recently, I've been taking time off to write my book. I got a book coming out next month, you guys. Book on happiness. So check it out at sharpway.com when you have a second. Right now, though, I am here on a free solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WENY, New York Southern Tier. The Patriot. WACK, Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. Before the break, I was talking about labor shortages, but not the actual people. meaning that the people are here, but they're not going to work. So many of them are working, just they're not going to work. That's the issue. So they're able to now take that cash and go do something else. Yeah. Let me grab a couple of comments here. You guys on the interwebs, thank you so much for chatting with us here. Joe asks a specific question. Who do I like in the New York City election today? For those of you who may or may not know, in New York City, we're doing our mayoral primary today. And the Democrats are doing their big. The Republicans are too. But the reality of it is it's New York City. We're about 75% Democrat, 70%, 75% Democrat. So generally speaking, whoever wins the Democratic primary, they're the mayor. Our governor, our Lord and Master, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo II, oh, hail the king, he has already deemed it. His words were, we will pick our new mayor in June, even though our election's in November. I, of course, by the way, Joe, for the election in November, I'm still going for Stacey Pressman, the Libertarian candidate. Yes, I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve. So I'm still going for her. I'm hoping she actually does win this thing. You never know. And if she doesn't win it, I hope she makes impact and people understand what she's doing. But I think today, when it comes to New York City, the Democrats, I think it'll either be Yang or Adams. I think those are the two front runners, and I think one of them is going to come out on top. That's what I think, Yang or Adams. Personally, I want Yang, but the reason why I want Yang is not because his policies. My city is in the toilet no matter who wins. But if Yang wins the primary, then the debate will be a national debate because Yang will be in it. And if I can get Stacey Pressman in that debate, I can get a libertarian on a national stage. So I'm totally selfish when I say I want Yang to win. It's not because policy. It's because the debate will be national because he'll be in it, and I can get my candidate to be in a national debate stage. That's why I care. Otherwise, my city is going to have a bad Democratic mayor. It doesn't matter which one to me. They're all bad. But give me Yang so at least I can get a libertarian on a national stage. That's where I am. So, all right, let's see if I can keep going. Ed says, the problem with inflation, when shortages will happen, when the media will cause trends, which will lead to more shortages. Yes. This is why I said, Ed, you are right. It is perceived scarcity. It doesn't have to be real. If we feel it's scarce, like the media tells us, and we believe it, we'll pay more money for it. You're totally correct. It's just like how we've seen the shortages in graphic cards due to crypto miners and scalpers. Oh, I didn't even know that. There we go. So that's chip shortages. Look at that, Ed. Didn't know that. Yes. So it's an issue. He's totally right. Ed is completely right. As I talk about and others talk about it, I'm trying to tell you the truth about it. That it really is a labor shortage, which isn't the real shortage. It's people not going to work. You may not find major media outlets saying that. They may just go, the world's ending. Be afraid. They've never done that before. Which again, to Ed's point, now we want to rush out and spend more money. Desiree says, my prediction, the government will eventually invite undocumented workers they told to leave to come back since people here are getting inflated unemployment income. So you're saying that governments will, yes and no to that. What I think will happen, Desiree, is they won't actually invite them. They'll just do what New York City has done, turn the blind eye and kind of let them come and act like they're mad when they're not. Like New York City doesn't even act like it's mad. It just goes, no, come on in. New York City literally gives ID cards to undocumented workers to make them documented. We just give city cards out so they can get everything. That's what New York City does. So I'm not saying we'll do that. I'm saying the country will just kind of go, I don't see any workers. Undocumented, who's that? I think they'll do that because I do think you're right. At one point, the federal government and state governments are going to want to stop paying. At one point, they got to stop paying. And if people don't want to go to work, I think undocumented will come out, which is why I'm hoping that we'll be savvy and that we will begin to negotiate with our employers now and have a better back and forth. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I do think it's a problem. I agree with you completely. It is a problem without question. But the other issue here is if we keep paying people to stay home, they're not going back to work. If employers don't find answers to get people back to work, eventually the money goes away. At one point, the federal government has to stop writing checks. I don't know when it's going to happen, but at what point it will, right? At one point it will. But the other issue is people are finding ways to work outside of tradition, the black market. If you look now, there is a huge black market in cannabis. Well, wait a minute, Larry. That can't be true. All those states that have legalized cannabis, even New York. Yeah, but as I've been saying for literally years, they do it in a way that only big business can win, which means there's still a black market. Well, now if I'm at home, I'm getting my check from the government, I can hang out, watch TV, but I want to go do something anyway, and maybe I like cannabis. Why not start selling that? We're playing a defund the police game all over the place, so the cops don't want to do stuff. The cops don't want to mess with this. So what are you going to do? I'll start selling weed. What a great idea. I can wake up when I want to wake up. I can still play my video games. I can still watch Netflix. All I have to do is go outside and start selling weed. I'll do that. But there isn't just a black market in cannabis. That's a big one. There's also one of other horrible drugs like heroin, even fentanyl. Yeah. People who are lost, people who have no purpose, people who are struggling to find meaning. Well, what happens? They find ways of occupying their time, like cannabis and video games and work and heroin, all types of things that are good and bad, all types. But also in labor. People are still working. If you notice, some construction companies are still getting work done. But why in the world would I want to show up on a work site, on the job site, and lose my government check? I don't want to. So literally the American becomes the equivalent of an undocumented because now he or she is working in the black market. Yeah. This was happening because of writing checks so much. We're not even asking questions. We're not even asking, are you looking for work? Whatevs. No, I just want my money. So I'm going to go work anyway. So now you have even that. Black market in work.
Craig from Clinton.
Cannabis, black market in heroin. Black market in fentanyl. What do black markets encourage? Yeah, violence. Let me grab a call if I could. I got Craig from Clinton. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Larry?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, I just calling because I heard you talking about legalizing cannabis, and everyone's like, "What? How is there still a black market?" California just had to bail out their cannabis industry.
Look at that. So
yeah, people weren't buying it. People weren't buying it from the legal places, and the legal places were going under. So they had to get a bailout for cannabis, for weed.
Yep.
People love weed. The government messed it up.
How in the world can you fail at being literally a drug dealer? How is that possible?
Yeah, well, California figured it out.
California figured it out. They figured out how to make a system so bad that you could fail as a drug dealer. Literally, the drugs literally sell themselves. And you figured out, California, how to fail on that one. Well done, California. Worse than us. Look at that, Craig.
Yeah,
we went to number 2.
We can always feel better about ourselves, I think, when we look at California. So I don't really want that to be how we feel better about ourselves, though.
Yes, exactly. But no, this is great. I'm glad you brought this up, right? So the government sets up a system for big business to win. And then when big business loses, they bail out big business. Win and win. That's amazing. Wow. All right. So what do you think? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharp, a free solution. Back with your calls and your comments after the break.
Now it's Dan Bongino, weekday afternoons. WYSL. AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the Newstead NBC Weather Center for tonight. We're looking at mainly clear skies. Temperatures will be a bit on the cool side. We'll drop back into the 40s. There might be a couple of clouds or a little sprinkle towards morning. Otherwise, we have a lot of sunshine in the forecast on Wednesday. Temperatures will bounce back into the low 70s. Beautiful day. Should be back into the 80s with sunshine on Thursday. I'm Rich Canilia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for businesses, nonprofits, families, and individuals throughout our region. We pride ourselves on the personalized service that we provide for our clients. Let us help you find health insurance plans that fit your needs and navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 Westridge Road in Rochester, New York, offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
For the senior in your family, consider Alpine Manor, founded in 1971 by owner Tim Kinsella, nestled in the picturesque rolling hills east of 390 in Livingston County, just 20 minutes from Rochester. At Alpine Manor, their pride is personalized care for seniors who are not yet ready for a nursing home. If your senior shows symptoms of confusion, forgetfulness, or memory loss, Alpine Manor could provide an excellent option. There are supervised activities and medications, full laundry and housekeeping services, 3 dietary approved home-cooked meals, and a bedtime snack, all provided in immaculate surroundings. Now, visitors are always welcome at Alpine Manor with an appointment. All staff and residents have received both doses of COVID vaccine. Be confident that your loved one is safe and secure, and you'll be able to visit and connect. Keep the golden years carefree years at Alpine Manor, New York State Health Department licensed. Call 346-5880. That's 346-5880 for a no-obligation tour or information, or visit alpinemanor.com.
For all the hunger you have for life, there's finally a portable grill with the versatility to keep up, keep rolling, keep pushing, keep cranking out big-time meals for big-time adventures. Whatever off-the-grid good time you've got cooking up next, rest assured the Weber Traveler will follow. Weber Traveler. Amazing food wherever you are.
Smith Lumber and Hardware Center in Lakeville proudly features Weber, America's best-loved grill.
What does it mean to bank locally with Tompkins? It means keeping your money in your community with a team of neighbors to guide you through big decisions and milestones, plus all the convenience of our mobile app, where you can manage your account, deposit checks remotely, send money to family and friends, even turn your card off if it gets misplaced, then back on when you find it. Ready to bank locally with the team at Tompkins? Visit Tompkins Bank of Castile online or at a branch to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All-Star Custom Apparel and Design is your local source for outfitting your team, employees, or customers and updating your logo, decaling your vehicles, signs, drinkware, and more. We will get your name recognized. Call 585-623-4000 to see what All-Star can do for you.
You know what would taste really good right about now? Hershey's Premium Ice Cream. And that means Colby's Ice Cream and Bake Shop. 36 flavors, smoothies, soft serves, sundaes, milkshakes. Summertime just tastes better at Colby's Ice Cream and Bake Shop. West Henrietta Road at 390 in Rush. Colby's. Eat in, pig out.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp, and I am back on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WENY, New York Southern Tier, The Patriot. WACK in Newark, New York. Look, this show is on every single day, Monday through Friday. Now you're saying, but Larry, I love you. I love you back. But guess what? Kevin Wilson's on this show. Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. The cool Kevin Wilson? Yes, he is. Noon every day. And also the super cool Tim O'Connor's on this show also. And you can follow this show and watch it every day by following us on A Free Solution YouTube and A Free Solution Facebook page. But I'm here now, 585-346-3000. For the break, some of the lack of labor and inflation, and then people working in the black market. All bad, bad, and bad. But what happens when you have people working in the black market? Violence. Yeah, that's what happens. Not just violence from those people, you do get that, but you also get violence from the government. Now, the story that Craig said when he called in for the break about the idea of the government bailing out the big businesses because people are buying cannabis in the black market, something else. A couple years back, 2 years back, there were so many black market cannabis farmers that the legal farmers got mad, went to the government and said, all these small farmers, they're ruining it for us. So, of course, the California government, as savvy as it is, immediately said, you know what? Let's change the system, make it fairer, lower the taxes so that everyone can compete fairly. No, of course not. That would make sense. Of course not. Government said, we got you back. We're going to resort directly to violence. So they sent their troops in, grabbed and seized all the land and all of the cannabis, taxpayer dollars, of course, and violence, of course, seized everything, then paid a vendor with taxpayer money to burn the illegal cannabis. I'm not joking. That actually happened. So after that happened, now the legal cannabis growers are going, come on, government, the black market's hurting us again. You didn't do enough burning and seizing of stuff, so do something else. And the government did the second thing it does very well. Violence is number one. We're good at that. What's the second thing we're good at? Writing checks. We are good at that. Man, we're good at writing checks. So they wrote checks. So violence to bailouts. That is how well America is regulating cannabis. Because that'll work. But now let's talk about street violence. You're finding lots of it. You might say, well, Larry, this is just bad thugs. That's true, but I want you to imagine something. You know a bunch of young males, anywhere from 16 to 24 or so in that area, now sitting home, don't have a job, getting a check or something, playing video games, looking for something. Here comes bad Johnny. He's a bad guy. And he'd be a thug on his own because he's a bad guy. And if things were good, he's kind of on his own because no one's going to hang out with him because they're doing stuff. But they're not doing anything now. So now bad Johnny tries to recruit all the kids in the neighborhood. He won't get all of them, but he'll get a bunch. And now those are his crew. And now they're out moving cannabis, moving heroin, moving illegal labor. They're the ones doing the footwork now for him. He's paying them, they're making cash, they're feeling like tough guys. Well, Bad Johnny isn't the only guy doing that. Bad Timmy's doing it too across town. They're both doing it. Well, it's black market. So when Bad Timmy says, I'm taking some of your territory, there's no contract to sign. It's illegal. There's no cops to call. It's illegal. There's no court to go to. It's illegal. So what does Bad Johnny do to deal with Bad Timmy? He sends his thugs over for street justice. And now Timmy has to do it in return. And now back and forth, and now you have violence all over the streets. That's why the violence is growing. It's not random bad people. There will always be a bad Johnny and a bad Timmy. That's true. And we will always need cops for them no matter what. That will always happen. I hope as few as possible, but that will always happen. But you can't get massive gangs. You can't get massive, violence like this without a black market. That's how you pay the people and give them reasons to do the violence. Otherwise, we would just have bad Jimmy. I'm sorry, it's bad Timmy and bad Johnny. That's all we'd have. We wouldn't have Johnny's gang and Timmy's gang. That's what we have now. That's because of the black market. So I want to be clear. So there's any question here. There's a labor shortage. And that happened because of the government lockdown. Well, now there's a black market. And that happened because of the government handouts to keep people home to work in a black market. Now there's violence. That violence happened because the government created a black market with both the COVID lockdowns and on top of that, the handouts. All of this violence is government sponsored. All of it. Prohibition doesn't work. Writing checks doesn't work. None of this stuff works. We have to change our environment and culture so that we can have less violence. That's what we have to do. And people aren't getting it. They're like, well, we just need more cops. Don't get me wrong. More cops will be a short-term solution. That's true. More cops in the street. Johnny and Timmy are going to get scared. They're going to chill out on the violence. But at one point, one of two or both things happen. They will eventually start shooting cops. Just happened in Denver. Was it yesterday, the day before? Or starting? Or two, the bribe cops. Or both. Through our prohibition, they were bribing cops, killing cops, all kind of stuff. And cops didn't then go, oh, they're bribing us and killing us. So what should we do? Let's change policy so that we can disincentivize the black market, because that would make sense. No. They said, let's just get bigger guns and hire more cops. Let's escalate the violence. So they did. What are we doing now? Escalating the violence. I'm not against more cops. Put more cops on, fine. It's a short-term answer. It'll stop the violence now. Awesome. But now we have to then have a policy to discourage the black market. The more cops is only a short-term. Bad Timmy and bad Johnny are still bad. And there's still a black market. They're just going to ramp up their game. They're either going to use cryptocurrency or do something else or stop being extra violent, or they're going to bribe cops or whatever. They're going to do whatever they have to do. They're not going to stop until we disincentivize the black market so that all the guys who are now jumping on bad Johnny and bad Timmy's teams don't. They don't. We do that and things change. That's the real issue. So let me grab a couple of these if I can. Sam says, my car is in the shop and I was going to rent a car, but now they're up to $150 per day. Used to be 50. Huh. Computers are expensive due to the scalping crypto miners. It's the same thing that Ed said. All right, this is some stuff. All right, I see it. $150 a day for a car. That's some cash. I guess you're walking. Maybe you're Ubering. Or maybe you're staying home too, Sam. You can be like the rest of them, going to black market. There we go. Nate says, shocker, the government's attempt to help a problem, people not working due to lockdowns, and they only succeeded in making it worse. People not going back to work. Then he puts sarcasm. Yeah. And that is my point, right? I get when people say they want to help. And I get that the intent is very often a good intent. I do get that. And I don't want to feel so cynical or mean. I know I come across that way sometimes. I know I do. It's because I'm frustrated. Because what I'm saying is not rocket science. What I'm saying has happened before. We've watched it happen. Do you think, and I'm asking you listening, do you think that all of a sudden a bunch of people said, you know what I want to do? Be more violent because I'm a bad person? Of course not. Of course not. The violence is happening because the environment is set up so that the bad players, the bad actors can now recruit a bunch of people who are lost when they shouldn't be lost. If they weren't lost, they're not. Think about you listening right now. What kind of position would you have to be in for you to be like, you know what I should do? Bad Johnny said, let's rob a bank. And I'm like, yeah. Where would your head have to be? That's where their heads are. And that's my issue. Government can fix that. That's wrong. Government cannot encourage that. Hold on. Let me change my words quickly. Government cannot encourage that. Woo, almost got in trouble. Almost lost my libertarian card. Joe was ready to grab it, yank it, but I took it back out of his hand before he did it. Appreciate it, guys. Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace?
Okay, we have Bob from Rochester.
Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability
You're welcome.
to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, it is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WENY, New York Southern Tier. The Patriot, WACK, Newark, New York. The cool Newark. You thought I was going to say it today, but I did. because Newark, New York is the cool Newark. Sorry, Jersey. 585-346-3000. So happy that you're giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I want to grab a call if I can. I've been grabbing a bunch of comments. Let me grab a call here. This is Bob from Rochester. How are you, sir?
Good, Larry. I would like to expand on your comment that the government is creating the crime.
Yep.
Okay. My theory is that we've got a lot of murders going on in cities, and a lot of these cities are run by minority people. And
that's true. A lot of the mayors, and not even just the mayors, but even a lot of the police forces are run by people of color, often Black, sometimes Hispanic. Sure.
And so I have a theory that this is government would like this to happen, because the more killings that we have, and especially they're always talking about shootings, which are stabbings and other things. But the reason is that if we get the people in the country riled up about shootings, then we can say, well, we need more gun control, which we're starting to hear it right now. We need more gun control, and so they can hopefully get rid of the Second Amendment people. And so that's my theory.
I see what you're saying with this, Bob. You think that if there's so much violence, then the country will be okay, more accepting of gun control, and then there can be a bigger and stronger attack on the Second Amendment.
Stop the shootings, because we'll take the guns away from everybody.
You know what? I see where you're going. I think there's some truth to that. My worry is, Bob, is that really a plan, or is this just, it's happening, oh, well, let's take advantage of it? I think that's where I'm on the edge of that, if you see where I'm going. I think you're right in what the outcome is. I'm not sure if they thought of it, or they're just like, well, it's happening, so what?
Well, I'm sure some of them have thought of it. And when we have no bail, and we have people that come out of prison on parole, and in 3 days they had robbed 3 different places 3 days after they left, and if there's no penalties for the crimes, then they are promoting a crime. And so
I would agree with you. I think that one of the biggest issues I have, and I struggle with this, to be forward with you, Bob, because I actually love the idea of bail reform. I don't like what we've done. In my perfect world, which did not happen, that bail reform is made to assist someone who is a first-time offender who doesn't go to jail because they're poor. It's a first-time arrest, first-time offender. They go back out, no cash bail. Don't worry about it. Maybe you're innocent, maybe you're not, but you're not forced to take a plea deal when you have been convicted in the past. You're not forced to pay a bunch of money or lose your job. That was the goal. That's not what's happened. What's happened is, to your point, there's people who've literally been convicted 3-4 times, go back out again, and rob bank again. So, and now we did it in, I guess, ostensibly because we cared about COVID. So we wanted to get people out of the jails so they wouldn't catch COVID. That was the story they told us. But then what happened was we shoved people back out into a world where they couldn't get a job because the economy was shut down. So they go out into a world and all they know is crime, and they can't get a job, and their family shut down. What are they going to do? Go back to crime.
Exactly. But see, even the bail, like you take your mayor of Rochester, whose husband.
I remember.
Okay, so he did. He was a felon, and he had guns, and he's selling narcotics.
There's a primary in Rochester today, by the way.
Year-old and so he is not in jail. He's I don't know if they got bail or if he even had to put up.
Oh no, but in that case, Bob, I mean, he's the mayor's husband, so even if there was a not cash bail or something, they're going to come up with enough money to get him out. So he's not going to sit in jail. I'm not worried about him. He's going to get out anyway. He's part of the elites. The elites always get out. I mean, unless it's something crazy, they always get out. I'm talking about the poor guy or gal who's their first time. That person should get a break. But I agree, when you add a very poor bail reform law, and then you add COVID, then you add shutdown, you add all this together, yeah, it's a disaster. And I do think you're right, because you notice they talk about violence, but they always separate, and then there's gun violence, right? That's the worst of all the violences, is the gun violence. That's the bad one. I think you're right, Bob. I see what your point is. I just don't think it's, I don't think it was planned. I think it's accepted. Do you see my difference?
Yeah, it's what was the guy from Clinton there says don't when something happens, take advantage of it. Remember, you want to be a mayor of Chicago.
That's right. Yes, that's right. 100%. Bob, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So yeah, Bob's got some valid concerns. It makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of things that are happening they're going to start blaming guns, because what else could be the problem? They're going to blame assault rifles, whatever that is. They're going to blame assault rifles when the vast majority of the crime is with handguns or with hand weapons, right? That's, knives, sticks, sometimes even fists and kicking people and whatever, hitting people over the head with bricks and stuff. But no, you're right. They're going to say, let's get rid of the AR-15, which
2 minutes.
Few crimes are committed with AR-15s. Is crazy. So Ed brings up the other thing, if you've heard about it, is OnlyFans are about to remove adult content. Wow. If not, it's basically they removed them due to MasterCard's policy against adult content. That's going to be a problem for those their content, which most are women, that's true, who have a problem mentally and or financially. That's where they need to go to alternatives to have a backup plan. This is a big deal. OnlyFans used to be almost only for adult content, and it was, as you said, vast majority women. But OnlyFans, because of COVID, a lot of people moved their product onto it, and it wasn't adult content because they were getting canceled. Remember that? The cancel culture? People were getting canceled on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, so they moved to OnlyFans because they could get paid, they couldn't get canceled. But now OnlyFans is making money
1 minute
on non-adult content. So then they get rid of adult content. So now you're mostly women, mostly poor women, or were poor at least, I don't know if they are now, are trying to make some cash at home now. Well, they can't now. They're going to get booted. They're going to find something else. Boy, is there anything government can touch that it won't ruin? It ruined adult content and drugs. Wow. I mean, how can you mess those up? I thought Vice was the only thing that would work no matter what. Even that's gone. Oh my God. Look, the reality of it is people are going to find a way to get what they want. It's how it works. So let's make a better environment to be fairer to everyone. That's real fairness. That's a real solution, a free solution. Larry Sharp, thank you so much. I will see you all next week.